the rest of God Hour today. It's finally not so cold. Nice sunny day. Oh yeah, this is nice. Have a seat on the patio, or whatever you want to call the patio table anyway, even if it's just in the lawn. Alright. Something like that. That'll work. Alright. If anybody happens to watch this at a later date, it's this is just kind of the discussion portion of God Hour Live. We've already did the scripture, and the short is available, which was from Isaiah chapter 25, verse 1. We're not going to get into all that. More than welcome to check it out. So I'm hoping some people will swing through and give some opinions or ideas what they would do in my shoes, so to speak. Where is the best investment to start with? I believe I'm not out of the donation money, but I believe I'm going to invest in a new iPad. Good morning, Lexi. How are you? I don't think you've joined us in the past. It's good to always see new faces, new names, rather. Same difference kind of on the internet, I suppose. But as I was saying, I'm going to invest in a new iPad to put this on its own non-YouTube domain. YouTube will continue, but if anybody has experience with one web host over another, I'd love to hear, actual reviews from people that have and do use different services. I've been a GoDaddy user for over a decade. It used to be good. It's not anymore. It's turned into garbage like almost everything. What can you do? I hope the sound is not too bad. It is pretty windy out here. That is another investment we're going to make. Now that we got a little money to play with. Some donations were received and so on. So I think audio equipment on the iPad would be my own personal investment. I won't be able to deduct that on my taxes next year. I will be able to deduct the web hosting and the domain fees and all that kind of stuff. Probably audio equipment. I don't know if AirPods would be acceptable, but something that is noise canceling or filtering, something a little more professional than just an iPhone. Well, that's why I'm thinking about going with like an iPad Air 13-inch M3 processor in it. 5G unlimited data. And then of course I can use whatever audio equipment with that, as well as Apple Pencil for the design portion of the web host. I did not. It's a good idea. I've just always kind of felt weird, like pretentious, I guess. But I guess them's the breaks, as they say. The Rock Shaman. I take it that you're no stranger to geology or ethnobotany, judging by the name Rock Shaman. That intrigues me. I'm a big fan of botany myself. I'm actually planning, now that the weather's getting better, to do my own gardening this year. And I don't do traditional gardening. I do a little mycology. And I'm going to do a Three Sisters garden for the fruits and veggies, and so for the vegetables, corn, squash, and beans. If I can get some chanterelles to grow reliably, I mean, we get plenty of wild ones around here. And honestly, I've been looking into a new strain of mushrooms that look really, really cool. I think I'm gonna grow a couple of flushes of them. I don't take mushrooms anymore, but they are fun to grow. They really are. They are. Fungus in general is fun. Stupid pun, I'm sorry. But fungus is amazing stuff, especially mushrooms. That wind is bothersome, is it not? Let's see if I can find this grain that I was looking into. It's actually got a black cap. It's a cubensis, but not a doesn't look like your regular cubensis. Black cubensis images. Let's see. A buddy of mine grew some that they're like total black caps. They're just beautiful. Let's see. Let's try that. Wish he would tell me the strain. pearl, is that it? No, that's not them. It's a hybrid between, let's see, magic mushroom spores. Split me. No, I don't take mushrooms anymore. I've taken them in the past. It's just, ooh, that's them. That's them. They are just so fun to grow that these just look like regular penis envies. But they are black. The whole cap is black. Let's see. I can't tell if that's showing them the way that I want them to be portrayed, but I don't know. A thick white cow, I mean, those are clearly penis envies, and the ones I'm looking at aren't so much. But they're a hybrid from the penis envies, and I forget what they get crossed with to make the perfect black cap like that. It's very, very interesting. They don't look so much like the male genitals. Which I would say, if anybody's never grown mushrooms, you don't have to be magic mushrooms. Just get into it. For substrate, it depends. If I'm making my own, I've got hay, where I've had horses. There's a barn full of old hay and material like that. I baked that for several hours, and I've had good luck with that. But generally, I get the berries, whatever they're called. Crap, I'm drawing a blank on it. The rye berries, maybe. It's been a few years since I've done my last grow project. But definitely, the little berries have been like the most easy. Depends on how hands-on I want to do the project. Want to do it myself, I'll gather the hay and do it that way, but it won't guarantee quick results. Order the little substrate bags and inject them that way. Before anybody criticizes me for talking about this kind of stuff on a religious channel. Bear in mind, please, that I was raised in a what they called Native American clan, where psychedelics and things of that nature were used, uh, not for partying, but to travel the seventh direction. My tribe, which is Creek, Muskogee Creek to be precise, believe in 7 directions. Uh, Northeast, south, and west being the first 4, up and down being the next 2. But the 7th direction is within. And 7th is translates to where you are. It's the direction you go without moving geographically. And I do think that there is a place for psychedelics in religion. And if you have any doubt, AA was founded by a guy that took acid, LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide, for the first time. So there's obvious therapeutic and spiritual value to psychedelics. That being said, I am a retired drug addict. You know, I like the word retired. I don't like to say recovering addict for the rest of my life, because I've got a good grip on it. I work full time, sometimes 50 to 60 hours a week, and don't do drugs. Don't desire to do drugs, other than the little things that I'm prescribed, which is a light dose of Xanax and well, Vyvanse, but I can't afford it. So I don't really take that either. Anyway, could be. Burning Bush being DMT. DMT is it's amazing. Not just the experience, but the chemistry of DMT is just fascinating. I'm gonna get out of the wind, unfortunately. And it's a little cool here, unseasonably cool even for Alabama. But yeah, dimethyltryptamine's a very interesting molecule in that it's in almost, if not every living creature, not just animals, but plants, animals, including humans. I don't know about fungus, if it appears in any fungus. I've got a friend doing an ayahuasca retreat at this very moment, actually. Friend and customer. Well, look who it is. Sean Owens. Hello, sir. How have you been? Been a bit concerned about you, actually. But I'm looking for a web host. I'm not going with GoDaddy. I had a long conversation with a sales rep, and they pissed me off because the first thing they did was try to sell me the most expensive server package. And I'm trying to explain to the guy, this is a donation based thing. I'm not selling any products. I'm not profiting off of it. Oh, well, how's $1,200 a year sound like? Gee, what did you not hear? You think I'm getting $1,200 donations left and right? Not to mention the time it takes to maintain a website. Coffee Black, 6138. Well, it claims that it's coffee, but it's really just crack. Uh, I bought 4 cases of it this week. Sad to say. Uh, but we also, Sean, you probably know, got a whole new line of Black Rifle products. I got a couple bags of that too. Anybody watch State of the Union last night, yesterday? Mhm. Yeah, it's Starbucks. It is what it is. They're- I don't like Starbucks, the company. I don't like Starbucks in general, like going into a Starbucks. I won't do that. But I have gotten hooked on these frappuccino, whatever they call them. Yeah, the Democrats did. Mm, it was uncalled for the way they acted. But leaving all that aside, I really enjoyed watching the Medal of Honor stuff. Of course, Trump wanted to say, if I could give myself the Medal of Honor, I would join you guys. Maybe they'll change the law. Like, come on, Trump. Yeah. You don't get a Medal of Honor. You need to actually be in the, well, I mean, he's the commander in chief. I guess he could win it through an act of valor. I don't know. That's a question worth debating. Anybody feel like Trump deserves a Medal of Honor? I mean, he did get shot, and he wasn't president at the time, but more or less in the line of duty. Uh, and he is the commander in chief now. I bet I could eat a 20-pound steak right now. I'll just cut off, take out one of my lungs to make more room. Uh, Shaving his head, Medal of Honor. Mm. I wonder how much hair I might have when I finally get around to passing away. I expect I'm going to die with a full head of silver hair, like my daddy did. Oh, oh man, that hurt. I don't have to be there till 4 today, but I put in 15 fucking clock hours the other day. You may be going, hey, the business is only open 14 hours. How could you possibly do that? Well, came in at freaking 6 a.m. and had a 1 hour break. That's how. 6 to 6 is 12. And then I took an hour to 7 to 10. Actually 15 and a half hours. Mm. That is why I'm in so much pain today. But I've heard that pain's good for you. Sure feels great. Mm. Then I had to be back in at 6 yesterday for Super Tuesday, but I only had to work till 1. I took I took a 30-minute lunch and slept for like an hour and 45 minutes accidentally in my truck. Violet's like not even bothering me. She's like, just, you're good. Go ahead. You're right about that. Mm. I don't want to go through all my spiel about how I got hurt and blah, blah, blah. I'm such a victim. I'm so pitiful. But I did break my back and have a cage around my spine. Mm. And I use that as my testament to the power of God and the mercy, the grace that He will show you. Or can show you. You know, God does as He will, of course, but when all of the doctors said this is not going to happen, God said, actually, it is. But I am very grateful for the experience. It is probably the most defining moment in my life. It put clarity on my spirituality, where I was borderline agnostic most of my teenage to 20s. I definitely stopped having agnostic tendencies after that. And look at me now, holding down a job full time, 40 to 50 hours a week, no wheelchair, the occasional cane. I do rely on my cane from time to time. May just have to take it with me today, actually. uh, but sometimes when things need to be fixed, it's easier to just destroy them and start all the way over with a new foundation. And that's what happened to me. I need to correct the picture, but it's the actual picture from the Seinfeld episode of Kramer, the painting of Kramer that they were selling. Uh, oh gosh, I didn't mean to knock that over. He is a loathsome, offensive brute, yet I can't look away. Mm. If you remember that episode. Oh, God. No pain, no gain. I got plenty of gain out of this, I guess. Oh, knocked over my ashtray, too. My ashtray Starbucks cup bottle. I'm drinking the things like freaking water, which is not healthy, I know it. That's why I've got my secret weapon. I will be completely healthy because I'm going to eat me a banana today. Freaking dollar, like 79 for this tiny banana. It's a damn shame. But that's why we're going to go with a nice garden this year. Some fresh fruits and vegetables. So whenever you're ready to come over here and help me install this hybrid inverter, today would be a good day for it. Dadgummit, trash cans outside. I need to get me a nurse. That's what I need. Nice blonde and blue. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She doesn't have to be blonde or blue. What else is going on, guys and girls? As I've said, God Hours received a bit of a donation. We're going to invest that into web hosting and some kind of microphone setup to improve the audio quality. And I think I'm personally just going to upgrade my iPad through AT&T. That way I can just use it instead of the phone. This iPhone 15 is so much more powerful than my iPad 10th generation or whatever. And I hate having to admit that I'm an Apple person, but it is what it is. Particularly since I'm certified in all these Microsoft things. Server MSSA, Microsoft Server Administrator, and all the ones before it. Somebody had to say it. I ran so far away. I got a customer that calls me Ron, even though it clearly says on my shirt, Rob. So he'll come in and say, "Where's Ron?" I'll say, "There's no Ron. Or there's not a Ron. There's not a Ron here." That's my pun. I use too many puns. Puns are the lowest form of comedy. I did have an issue with a customer that I'm deaf in my left ear. And I had a customer humiliating me for that fact. How would you guys respond if someone were ridiculing you for a physical disability or a mental disability, any kind of disability? I consulted with my boss, and her advice was to tell that customer to GTFO and don't come back. Mitch Hedberg, no question about it. And I've got, I greatly enjoyed Norm Macdonald. Jim Brewer's okay as far as living comedians. Chappelle, he puts on a good show. Other than that, I can't think of any off the top of my head. There's one, I can't remember his name, but Chad Daniels. I kind of like his stuff too. The Artful Codger, the old man who does comedy, I get a kick out of his work too. Dan Soder, no problems with that. I like comedy that is clean for the most part. It's not based on being shocking and constantly drilling into the curse words and sex jokes and things like that. It just gets old, and I don't see the comedy in it, to be honest. Like, what's his name? Kevin Hart. I don't think he's a very good comedian at all. Mitch Hedberg, now I think of his jokes like every day of my life. Like the escalator, like, an escalator can never be out of order. An escalator can only be temporarily stairs. That's so good. It's so clean and it's so true. Sorry for the convenience. um, I'm not familiar with Andrew Santino. I'll have to check into that. Is he, I guess, what they call dry bar comedy? It'll make Sean real uncomfortable by eating a banana. Dude, have you gotten some of the Kentucky Fried Chicken jelly beans yet? Where did I put them? I feel like they're in my hoodie. The question is, where is my hoodie at? Right there. God dang it, I gotta go out and get that garbage can. Please tell me they're in here. They don't sound like no jelly beans in there. Damn it. There's Kentucky Fried Chicken jelly beans, though. They taste like Kentucky Fried Chicken. They're actually pretty good. The first one's not, but they grow on you. Must have left them in the truck or something. Got 'em. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel's favorite jelly beans. Fried chicken, sweet corn, and gravy flavors. Sure do you get quiet in here. Voices in my head, shut up. Fuck. Where's my last bit of banana? I'm from Alabama, and I have a sink. Awesome. Waste not, won't not. Hey, Peanut. Let's see. 11:33. Paycheck should be rolling in anytime. I have to do laundry. Yeah. I mean, I could have applied the 5-second rule, but it was a banana. Bananas tend to cling to anything that touches them, so. In this particular case, I didn't feel like eating whatever it might have picked up. Well, I'm healthy now. I've eaten a banana. Now I'm entitled to eat all the junk food I want rest of the day till I eat another banana tomorrow. Actually do need to go shopping. If it wouldn't kill the stream, I'd check see if my paycheck dropped yet. I know what I am about to do. Let's go get that fucking garbage can. I'm not usually such a whiny little bitch about my back hurting. It's just been tough. I hadn't stressed it that bad in a long time. And I ran so far away. Right on, right on. That's so good. What's up? There we go. I gotta make sure I keep hiding my corporate logo. I don't want to get fired because I'm too lazy to put on a shirt that doesn't have my place of business's name on it. Not like anybody from corporate America would be visiting. They're Christian-based or religious-based. YouTube channel. Oh, this do smell nice. Try not to promote any particular product, but Hefty Clean Burst does smell nice. A lot better than lavender garbage bags. Why would you want lavender garbage bags? I think lavender, I think there's an inhaler thing, Benzodrex inhaler, I think. Lavender and chamomile, and they're disgusting. No excuse for using a freaking box for a garbage can anymore. Sorry for the close-ups. I know I'm not the most appealing thing to look at. That's better. Yeah, Hefty really should be sending me some royalties. Our actual sponsor is Jesus. And to be fair, we did already put the hour into scripture and discussing Acts chapter 16. This is just kind of for fun. And actually, a verse of the day the other day, I can paraphrase it. It says, let's get to the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and obey his commandments. And that is all that is required of us that's all that is required of man and woman, humans. Fear God and obey his commandments. After that, you can have fun. I mean, you can, no point does it say be a mindless slave and only do religious stuff 24/7. Obey his commandments and play video games to a degree. Watch TV. Play instruments. Read, write. Have fun. Have a drink if you like. I don't, but everybody has their own way of entertaining or recreating. Speaking of which, I got to do some stuff Friday. I want to get a steak. I had dinner with a lady, Sean, if you can believe it. She cooked homemade stroganoff. That's a good question. Do the Creeks follow Christianity? Yes and no. They obviously had not heard of Christ traditionally in the old days, but they did believe in a creator. So they, although they're often branded as pagan, they did understand that there's a higher power and a creator, a God. They didn't worship the trees as a lot of people accuse them of, but they held life to be sacred and nature sacred and nature created by a God. Um, so they believed in God. Now, Christ was introduced, of course, and many Christians, I dare say most Christians or Creeks became Christian uh, because the Bible does not conflict with the Creek teachings, the Old Testament, the Genesis in particular, uh, and that we don't own the earth, but we are given it to take care of and make use of and enjoy it. Um, I believe the Creeks are traditionally much better stewards of the earth than modern day Christians. Um, so, but they did have to wait to learn about Christ to become Christian. Um, so my own personal thought on the matter is that uh, now that they are given the cup, uh, it's up to us as Creeks to drink from it or not, to reject Christ or not. And I have chosen to accept Christ, not reject. Um, but there are even Creek legends or folklore, folk stories of a coming redeemer, a Messiah, so to speak, as well as folk legends of flood, a great flood, and many other correlations to the Bible. Um, so I kind of feel like there's, until the word of Christ reaches and has reached the entire globe and entire, you know, civilization, uh, that you're not really damned or going to heaven until you get to make that decision. Purgatory, I guess, is what I'm alluding to. Uh, like right now, the internet, the whole world is connected, except for a few little obscure spots. Uh, and I do believe that's a foreshadowing that the end is near, that Christ will be coming in with power and in glory, unlike the first time where he came meek and mild as a newborn babe. It's going to be much different this time. It's going to be, well, I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like, but I kind of feel like I may still be around when that happens, but it could be like 50 years down the road. Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody can know. If they believe in scripture, then they also believe they don't know. It's the paradox, as Matthew said, or as it says in Matthew by Jesus, for you know not what hour will come as a thief in the night. So remain vigilant. Mm. Why not nature? What do you mean by worshiping nature? Mm, I don't see nature as a deity in its own, but I see nature as the handiwork of a deity, and it is the creator of that handiwork that I worship. Uh, I mean, to me, it looks like there's consciousness in a lot of nature. The Fibonacci sequence is, rife throughout nature, and as such, the golden ratio. Uh, and many other things too. Um, the sheer beauty of some things is just too. It makes me think God has a sense of humor, a sense of um, artistic uh, expression. Uh, like some things are beautiful for no other purpose than just to be beautiful, apparently. Now, you can go to the scientific explanation. Let's take the aurora borealis, for example. Um, almost objectionably beautiful. Nobody can really look at that and say, that's not amazing and pleasing to look at. And there's a really scientific reason why we see it the way we do, boiling down to the way that our eyes perceive wavelengths of light and scattering of the magnetosphere and all that crap that neither disproves God or proves. Uh, but whoever created all of that, that's the, the person deserving of worship. Not the aurora borealis itself, but the mastermind behind all of that stuff. No, I don't see why that would be sacrilegious. If you craft, what do you mean by crafting nature? Now, are you just needlessly destroying or killing a bunch of animals to make sculptures out of their bones? That I consider a little bit sacrilegious, yeah. But if you're weaving uh, trees and vines into a hut or something, or into a statue, or to anything really, I don't see that as being sacrilegious. I think it's a homage to God. Um, it would all depend on context, I suppose. Because if you were crafting something by itself sacrilegious, like, say, a statue of Satan, that would be blasphemous or just downright evil if you're worshiping evil. Uh, but trees are and plants are a very replenishable natural resource. Um, I'm happy to keep looking and thinking about this. In some instances, you expense God. What do you mean by that? Is that perhaps a translation? or you waste something. Uh, I'm not catching that last reference to expense. Yeah, I totally get that having a connection to your plants, my plants. Um, they bring me happiness. Okay, thank you. Experience. Uh, that's what you should feel when you go into your garden, in my humble opinion. And that's how I feel uh, when I had some chickens. I'm about to get some more, but my chickens gave me an almost spiritual experience watching them run around and do funny things, but not because they're funny, but th- they just make me smile, make me appreciate the creator of all this stuff. Like, you'd had to have known some of my chickens to really get where I'm going with this, but I had one named Quasar, and this bird was smart. For a chicken, I mean, just freaking Einstein of chickens. But she was eccentric, as most geniuses are. um, she could catch moving targets, like you could throw breadcrumbs and she'd catch them in midair. She could, calculate the trajectory. Where I've had other chickens that were too stupid, they'd get hit right in the face with a piece of bread, and then when it bounced on the ground, then they could catch it after it stopped moving. But Quasar, she could, I mean, she was a marksman. She also really enjoyed orange soda, and so on and so on. That was actually one of the biggest things that helped me get over this serious opioid problem I had. Uh, was one day I was in the depths of the most horrible withdrawal and watched my birds out there just being goofy chickens. And I started laughing and smiling despite the abdominal problems and the dysphoria and the sniffles and all the full-blown opioid withdrawal that you might or might not know anything about. Hopefully you don't. I have no doubt about it. Uh, Birds are, Sean can tell you if he's still in here, uh, just they amaze me. Uh, that needs to be my project Fridays. Find me some biddies. And I'm also going to do a honeybee hive this year. I think. I mean, it's my goal. I don't see why I shouldn't be able to do it. I think I've even got all my materials I need already. I don't want to get too many projects going on at one time, but I've already got the chicken coop. It's ready for birds. That's not really a project. It's just a matter of picking up a few biddies. Uh, the honeybee hive, that's going to take some construction, but not a lot. And then ordering a queen. And I think you can just order them in through the mail nowadays, or always could. Her chirps a lot. Yeah, I've had a lot of birds passed on, particularly the chickens. I don't think a chicken has ever lived to die of old age. Even the most well-protected birds I've had, something has managed to get them somehow, even with a completely enclosed pen. Yeah, it is what it is. You can't get too attached to them. If they get a couple of years of happy life, and you get a couple hundred, if not thousand eggs, that's a fulfilled chicken's life, in my opinion. I've never eaten one of my own birds. Just kind of FYI, eating plenty of eggs, but and now I would if I had to, if it came down to it, slaughter chicken in a heartbeat, but not just for the hell of it, only if I had no other way to eat. But I got plenty of doves and things like that to hunt around here. Quail are nuts over there. And deer. Well, the coop itself, which is, I guess, about 20 foot by 16-foot run, uh, 1 inch by 2 inch, but I had it girded with about 18 inches of 1/4 inch um, mesh, you know. So nothing bigger than 1 inch wide could get through the main part of the run. And even to get to that, it would have had to climb up the 1/4 inch stuff. Pretty sure it's a coon that just happened to catch a chicken close by, uh, grabbed its neck and tore its head off. Because they even had mesh over the run, uh, so hawks and stuff couldn't get in. That's cool. I have no problem with that. That's what we are. We being not only Creeks but Christians are told in the Bible to do. Well, the Creeks maybe not in the Bible, but you know what I mean. We are free to feast on the beast and fowl and fish, but responsibly. You know, I'm not a big fan of the deep sea fishing industry. Certainly not a fan of whaling and all that. Smoke outside. I gotta get out of this habit. Just keep telling myself if I don't have an ashtray, that'll force me to smoke outside. Instead, it forces me to smoke into a glass jar or something like that. Which, if you remember, I just knocked one over. Oh, right on, right on. Geez, 53 pounds. That's a big bird. My Quasar, she got her leg trapped in some wire and ended up breaking her leg, unfortunately, but she didn't die. I nursed her back to health. But she could never really use that leg again. But she could hop on that other leg faster than any of the other birds could run. So it didn't slow her down, and she had a personality. She was just like a happy chicken. So even though she was crippled, much like me, uh, she was giddy to come running anytime I came outside, or my mother when she was still alive. You could just see the glee in her mannerisms. I mean, she loved to be picked up. She loved to be carried around. She loved to ride on my shoulder. She was a pet. So I couldn't bring myself to eat that bird, definitely. I didn't get a chance anyway, though, unfortunately. Coons. I got no problem blasting a coon, though. I've never eaten a raccoon. I guess they're pretty good. I mean, I've only heard of people using their pelts, but I guess the meat is good. I'm looking at this neighbor's dog that's in my yard. He's begging to get peppered with 12 gauge. Yep. Wait, that was 53 pounds of meat? Good God. Yeah, that is a gigantic bird. Just 53 pounds alive with everything else, you know. That's still a big bird. I do love turkey. Could go for some turkey right now. I live in a very rural community. It's not like we have restaurants or things like that. We have country store cafes. That's about the best you get. They don't have turkey very often. Give you an idea of what my yard looks like. Not the yard, but right outside the gate. I'm actually thinking about growing Christmas trees, because I got about I don't know, I got 9 acres total, but probably 3 that would make it perfect stretch, like 1 acre wide, 3 acres long. Maybe more like half an acre wide and 2 long, that I could plant rows of Christmas trees. Just for the sole purpose of selling Christmas trees. But making some use of the land. I mean, there's a few hardwoods out here, but nothing really I could profit off of. Certainly I could chop a few of them down for my own use as firewood. Mostly sweet gums, though. They're not really of any use. That's a big sweet gum. I do have a nice, beautiful dogwood tree. I can't wait for it to start blooming again. And a fig. And that'll make some food this year. I am in Alabama. War Eagle. You? I live off-grid as well. By the way, not that anybody asked. But I'm definitely glad this cold stuff is over with. It was a tricky winter to get through. Living alone, as it were. Solar and propane. If I had the equipment, I could clear all this out and have some kind of pasture land. And I mean, I did have horses on it, but I still had to keep it bush hogged, and just a lot of effort and mess. Oh, I dated a girl from Plano. And I've flown in and out of DFW many times in my life. Used to have a customer in right outside of Dallas. Well, I say I, but my family, they wrote software. They were both computer programmers. And there was a welding supply company in the Dallas area we served. There's my tracks I was thinking I could do. Christmas trees all up and down here. You're not obviously under the power line, but adjacent to it, all this stuff over here. Clear that away, which I don't use the power grid, so one could argue that all of this power line stuff is, I guess that's eminent domain. I guess I don't have a right to just chop these power poles down. Still kind of think they should be leasing my land if they're going to build. Because that's a pretty big stretch of my property I can't use any way I want to. I need to get out here and mow this down, or the power company should. At least between the poles. Make that into a little driving range. Of course, I'd be hitting them over the fence there into the highway, or so-called highway. Which, that is what I used this for until it got all grown up. Didn't take long, 2 years, about all it takes to turn a pasture into woodland. Pine trees grow so damn quick. Hell, these are just this year's growth. Fucking, pardon my French, power companies are putting pesticide out here under their power lines. I don't care for that at all. Or herbicide rather, not pesticide. See all the dead plant life. That offends me. I don't know if it's because I'm a creek, but just, it's very rude. It's very disrespectful to the earth. Got a lot of work to do this year. Yeah, exactly. Nothing I can do about it, really. But all this stuff that runs to my particular property or to my house, there's no current going. Well, I mean, there's current going through that, but there's no need for there to be current going through it. Because I don't have service. As far as I'm concerned, they can take all that shit out of here. I'm much more content to live without paying a power bill, without seeing wires running all the way up and down my property. I'm gonna have to rent me a Kubota or something, the bush hog. Make room for some more panels. Put me another 1,200 watts of panels right there. Grab me another 5 kilowatt hour battery. And I think that's all I'll need to be able to run everything. 220, 240 volt equipment included. Sean's punk ass, if he's still in there, he come over here and help me. It's time to put that box up. Got me a 5,500 watt solar inverter. Figure out where I'm gonna mount it. Well, the day is burning. It's been nice chatting. I think I'm getting ready. I gotta be at work in 3 hours myself. But this is a regular thing. Feel free to subscribe and, I hate to be that guy. I hate to say that. And smash that like and subscribe button, y'all. That is kind of the gist of the God Hour thing. Is a little bit of scripture, a little bit about just talking about life. I appreciate that. That does help the algorithm and all that crap, but it is what it is. You have a good day, mate. It's been nice talking to you, and I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Take it easy.